What's up, my gremlins? I know you guys don't really like these, but I'm going to do a quick little update video. I do have 3 more videos of me getting the front diff in here, what you have to do all that when you're doing the lift, the tab you have to cut off, that kind of stuff. It's probably going to be 3 separate videos because I have a ton of footage. It is a pain in the butt. It was probably the hardest part of the entire process. But I still have to edit those and then upload them and stuff. I've been getting out here and just working. I haven't been filming a lot of stuff just because I have to get this truck done. But I want to give you guys an update of some of the progress that we have made. For those of you who've been following the page, yesterday was Christmas. Hope you guys had a good holiday. It was a very tough day for us. We lost my wife back in the end of October. Not only was yesterday Christmas, but it was also her birthday. So needless to say, things around this house were not as cheerful as they could be. But I'm not going to bring everybody down with that kind of stuff. So let me show you some of the stuff that we have gotten done. I want to give a shout out to my buddy Al. He came by the other day and just helped me tinker in the garage. Got the valve covers all cleaned up. We got them sprayed, put on there. Since we adjusted the valves on here, everything is good. So we popped these on. I do not have a video for this, but I'm going to show you how I set this up. So this is our fuel line coming through, obviously. It drops down behind the distributor, under the truck. Now, I am not going to tell you this is the way you should run this, but this is the setup that I am using. So, this is the secondary fuel filter with the return line here. So we have our main fuel line coming down, and then this is a return because the carb doesn't have return. This fuel filter has a built-in return, so once it builds enough pressure in here, it'll send the overflow through this. We are running a stock style filter as well here, so it comes off of that filter, which, let's see if I can get some more light in here. It comes off of that filter there and then runs to our stock style filter. I just went with a K&N because it was reasonably priced. So then it comes out, runs along here, and then up and underneath the tank. And then it is, wow, what is my camera doing? It is all hooked in. So here's our return line and our main fuel line. So that is how we are running that. Essentially using a stock style filter and then the Wix 33040 that has that return line on it. So fuel system is done. The tank is all hooked up, wired up, grounded. Fuel lines are all ran. Like I said, we have the valve covers on. And then we also went ahead and replaced all, well, not all because I didn't replace this line or the lines coming off of the ABS module, but all new front fuel lines or brake lines, brake hoses. Those are the stainless steel extended brake hoses for the lift kit, but come along, all new line, all new line. Have the sway bar on this side, not tightened down, but it is getting there. Also went through and started cleaning up the wiring in here. So these I know I need. I still have to go through the diagram, but the bulk of all of these connectors here are going to get re-loomed up and moved back out of the way because they were for the old TBI system, which we are not going to be using, but I don't want to cut them out of the harness. So I am just going through, making sure there's nothing else that I need that isn't necessary, and I don't think so because the alternator and AC and all that's all wired up. So I'm pretty sure almost all of these, or all of these, are for the old TBI, which we don't need. So we're going to loom them all up, get them out of the way in the cab, and then it's on to finishing up wiring. I do not have an access hole anywhere on this truck that I can find anywhere on the firewall to run the wiring in. So I'm probably going to have to go get some grommets and all that kind of jazz and make myself a hole. Not something I really want to do, but it's going to be a necessity to run all the lights and stuff that we have, because this hook off-road front bumper has the 4 little pod LEDs, which we have ran across, wired them all in unison, so I've got to run a line for those into the truck to his rough country switch panel that we have, that I've got to figure out where we're going to mount that at inside there. Also, I went through and put up some more light fixtures, so it is not like a dungeon in here. I still have 3 more that I can put up. I just got to figure out where I'm going to put them and then wire those up. It is a mess in here. I just cleaned up the other day, but I've been out here humping, just trying to get stuff done. So I still need to figure out, I bought a universal little bracket here for the throttle, but I don't like it. It is not high enough. I want this to be more level so that when you're pulling the cable, it's not pulling at an angle. So I am going to fab up my own bracket for that. I'm going to make a bracket to raise that up so that I can hook that all up so that things are more in line, and hopefully that'll work. Once I get the wiring for these lights ran, I've got to finish welding in the patch in the bed, and then that's going to get bed lined. We don't really care what the inside of the bed looks like, obviously, because it's the inside of a bed. So once I get this wiring done, I still need to make a little junction so that I can run the vacuum advance to the booster on the brakes. I have to bleed the brakes. I have fluid in the system, just making sure I don't have any leaks, so I'm just letting it kind of do its thing for now before we go to try to bleed that. I have fluid in the clutch system. I still have to bleed that. Once I get the brakes bled, I can throw the front wheels on this thing and it'll officially be a roller. I do have to go through and check fluids in. I've already checked the rear diff. I know from maneuvering the front diff in and out that I need to refill that because it got everywhere. Check the trans fluid, transfer case. If you guys want to see how to do that, like I did one on the rear diff, it's similar for the front. But if you want to know how to do that, drop it in the comment. Let me know. I can make a quick video on that stuff. That stuff's not huge. I do need to order a belt still. Eventually, once I start putting body panels on, I'll have to finish tightening up the front bumper and stuff. It is just mocked up for now. There is 2 more holes I want to drill so that I can throw 2 more bolts in this thing, just for some extra stability. There's already holes there, but there's not holes in the frame, so I'm going to use the holes that are there, drill some in the frame, just to make sure. We do have another light bar that's going to get mounted up on this portion, so I've got to figure out how I want to mount that, how I want to run the wiring for that. I'll have to wire in the winch. I still have to go through and grease all the new front suspension stuff. I have not greased anything yet. It is all just put back together now. The axles are back in. I do still have to tighten the axle nuts, but I can't do that till I bleed the brakes so that I can hold pressure on the brakes to be able to tighten those and torque them, because you have to put some big ooga-doogas behind there. I got to get the sway bar in on this side. Back of the truck is completely done. You know, all new lines ran. I made a video on that. The add-a-leaf's in there. The shocks are all in there. The gas tank's in there. It's wired up. So besides throwing the bed back on back here, the back of the truck is done. I may still drop the back of the diff, the cover, and clean it out. It is at the right level, but I may go ahead and actually clean that out. Put new oil in there. I haven't made up my mind yet. But yeah, we are making progress. I know the videos have been kind of sparse. I dropped a few the other day. I think 3 all in one day. But we're getting there. It is going to start getting cold again here next week. So this weekend, I am going to be out here just trying to crush stuff. I will try to get some more stuff filmed, and I will try to get some more videos out. But in all honesty, I would rather just be busting the stuff out and then start dropping the videos after the fact, because I just need to get this stuff done so I can get my kid's truck running and get him out of my hair, because I got myself a new truck, and since he doesn't have a truck, guess who's driving my truck? So, alright, so I hope everyone had a great holiday. New Year's is coming up. If you have plans, you might want to set yourself up a DD or Ubers or whatever, man. DUIs and stuff are not worth it. I don't know from personal experience, but I have friends who do, and it's not worth it. I actually paid for one of my friend's DUIs like an idiot, and then, of course, since I paid for it, he went to turn around and got a second one, and then expected me to pay for that one, and he was on his own. So, be safe. Have fun. Check on your people. Keep that circle small. I want to give a couple shout outs to my buddy Farmer Clay. He's got a YouTube channel. Go and check him out. Dude does a lot of cool crap on a farm. It shows you the ingenuity of farmers out there. Kind of like with me. Most people probably wouldn't run that kind of fuel setup, running 2 filters and all that kind of stuff. They probably would just ran the 1 filter with the return. This is just something we're going to try. If it doesn't work, I'll take the other filter out, and then we'll just run the one with the return. But I would rather make sure, I don't know, I didn't look in the inside of that tank, so I don't know how janky it is. So I would rather have 2 filters than just the one, just to be on the safe side. This truck is a 90, and that's the original tank. So there's next to no gas in it, and it's been that way the whole time it's been in the garage. But you never know. Any kind of moisture condensation can get in there. You can get rust and all that kind of crap. So things are coming along. Just check on your people, man. Like I said, this is a very, very, very rough time of year for me. Coming up, me and my wife that passed actually met on New Year's. So I'm not for sure how that's all going to play out. Grief is a crazy thing, man. It comes in waves, and people who haven't experienced it just don't understand. You can be fine one minute, you can be bawling your eyes out. The best thing I can tell you is when those emotions hit, let them hit, man. I bawled my eyes out in the middle of a store the other day. Who cares? People look at you like you're crazy. I don't give a damn what these people think. You know, do what you got to do. There's a lot of people out there who keep telling me I need to go talk to a counselor. That's not my style, man. That's not me. I learned to cope and deal with things in my own way. Sometimes that's shutting down and just going into my own head and just, you know, maybe that's not the safest thing to do. I'm not a person who's ever dealt with, like, you know, crazy thoughts or massive depression or anything like that. I just have to kind of let things play out the way they play out. You know, you can only control what you can control. When you start to try to control things that you have no control over, it can cause you to spiral, man. So stay true to yourself, stay true to your circle, hold your loved ones tight, and be smart, man. I know New Year's is a big drinking day, and my brother wants me to come over and hang out, which that's a safe space anyway. He's got a little baby. Ain't nothing crazy gonna happen there. Take care. I will catch y'all on the next one.